I've never been a real science fiction person. I definitely came to Roswell, to this particular project, being more, somebody who had experience in the worlds of sort of character dramas, and that's sort of always been my background and what I've written about and what I've done. So the sci-fi experience was something that was completely new, a little bit daunting to me to jump into. I was sort of interested in finding some kind of sort of like a contemporary story that would have a contemporary love story that would have the sort of Romeo and Juliet stakes. The idea of two people who are in love but can't be together. And I was having trouble finding something because, in this day and age, it's hard to really find a real roadblock to being together. There aren't the Montagues and Capulets so much anymore, and it was sort of hard to find that. But here you had a situation where they were two different life forms, and that seemed to be a real obstacle to the two of them getting together. I had the opportunity to read the book, which was sent to me by an executive at Fox as a potential project. I read the book and I loved it. I just thought this was both a wonderful piece on its own and seemed to have all the ingredients that you want for a series. I mean, it was just great characters and a great situation, and it just seemed to be a great starting point.
In starting the pilot, Jason had put together a first draft of the script and an outline, and I got involved at that point. And then upon doing that, he and I worked very closely on really where the show could go as far as the third and fourth acts of the story. He wrote a great teaser and a great opening act of this thing, and then he and I really got together and really molded the rest of the episode to really make it, I think, what it really became, and really made it this wonderful love story between Liz and Max.
I remember when we did the pilot episode, we had to do so much in the 44 minutes or so that you have to do an episode of television. We had to establish, obviously, all these characters, we had to establish the situation. But I think most of all, I feel like we had to make the audience, take the audience with us on this ride and make them, believe in it and make us feel for these characters. We were shooting and I was, watching David direct and watching a scene between Jason Behr and Shiri Appleby where he told her that he was an alien. And I remember watching that scene, and the way Jason played it, I suddenly believed that this show was going to work, because he just totally owned it. And he was that guy. It was all true, the way he was playing it.
We had a wonderful experience in the pilot. Jason is incredibly talented. He's got this brilliant mind that's always constantly working. You can see him when he's moving on the set, and he's just kind of bouncing around, looking, and constantly thinking. And the characters are so rich, and the ideas and the possibilities are infinite, with the backdrop of being an alternate reality, if you will, of the existence of aliens. That backdrop, coupled with his knack for relationships, and then also with David Nutter's eye, it's been one great experience.
Jason Katims. Jason Katims. I remember him from somewhere. That name.
I bow down to that man. I would work for him in a heartbeat. It's just a very nice guy. When you see him, you're just sort of like, wow, that's Jason Katims. You're okay, Mr. Katims. Very nice to meet you.
When I read it, what definitely attracted to me was the writing. Jason Katims has a way of writing things in such a realistic and honest voice, something that's not trying to sound 16, but really is really that age and that period in adolescent life, that it wasn't difficult at the audition to feel what he was writing for these characters, because he was writing it so honestly that it was able to play it so honestly. So I think, it's hard to act out a story unless the story's down there on paper, and it was. So I think it definitely was that. And then once we shot the pilot, I mean, David Nutter taught me so much in that, that 12 days. And I'm working with a great cast that are all extremely talented. So, I feel like I got really lucky. Everyone here is really likes going to work and likes working. So it's a really positive experience.
Shiri, she was a sweetheart. She was the sweetheart. I really liked Shiri pretty much from the first day I met her. She was absolute sweetie, very nice, very cute, funny. She always made me laugh. I knew instantly that this is someone that would give me tons of material to make fun of her about and would never really get insulted. Would always take it the way it was intended, was just a joke, in which I encourage it to come back my way. She's probably I had good relationships with everyone on the cast, but she's the one that I've kept in touch with the most.
Colin's unbelievable. The hardest thing was thinking, oh my God, he resembles his father so much. That was the hardest part. And I'm not kidding you, I'd be in the scenes with him and I'd be watching him and all of a sudden I'd see his dad and I'd go, oh my God, this is it. He's going places. This guy's talented. And it wasn't about the image of his dad, it was the similarities. That it was so easy for him.
Katims and Nutter, those are the guys that gave me my career. I mean, without those guys, I would probably still be failing in school at this point. I'd be like an 8-year senior. I think the Roswell audition was like maybe the 9th audition I had ever been on, that first one, which was an awkward audition. Everyone else were like seemed to me like actor types, and here I was wearing a polo shirt buttoned up all the way with, some army pants on and some sneakers. I was definitely the most ugly looking kid in the bunch. The pilot was the first time I'd ever acted for camera. I mean, that scene with me and Majandra in the cafeteria, that's the first scene I've ever done. I mean, I was like an extra in some stuff before, but that was the first scene where I ever had a line, where I had a mark, where I had to turn in a specific way. When you see Alex the first time, he sort of seems like a bumbling kind of kid. I was nervous.
There's a lot of kids, though, that don't, I find, get very bored with something that's just like all about high school and dating and whether this one and who did this and that. This show covers that, but it also has this whole other world of the FBI, the running away, making life or death decisions. And it's just filled with a lot in 1 week. So it's like a little movie.
It's about three aliens, we can all say that, I think, now, who are really looking for a way home, or at least where they came from. And one of them, played by Jason Behr, Max Evans, he has had a long time crush on Shiri's character, Liz, and something happens, puts her life in danger, and he saves her, and that suddenly jeopardizes the whole, their existence.
Nick Wechsler is an idiot, and I hope I never see him again. Kitty. Sorry, Nick. No, Nick played my son, and so in some ways, and we hit it off. Nick and I hit it off kind of instantly when I asked him. I was moving into an apartment and I called him up. Didn't even know this guy, this actor playing my son. And I called him up and asked him if he would come and help me move. And he came over. And after 8 hours of moving boxes, we were still friends.
Isabel actually is getting more and more complex, I think, as the stories go along. But she's basically this girl who puts out an air of being very confident, very strong, almost kind of untouchable and cold in a way. But in reality, she's very, she has a lot of vulnerabilities, obviously, about being an alien and being different. And she just really wants to lead a normal life and be a normal person and feel like she has a place in the world.
How can you not love Katherine Heigl? She's like the sweetest girl in the world. Like, you have to take care of her. You have to protect her like she was your sister. She was just so nice. She was, you know, her mom would come to the set every day, and she had her dogs, and she was just I loved making her laugh. Making her laugh was like, if I could do that, you know, that would be able to, you know, that would make the day go by faster. You know, sometimes I just liked making her feel uncomfortable with my dirty language sometimes, but she would just laugh and just go, oh, boys will be boys. You know, she's an old soul in a way.